Okay? Now, the ayin represents what? Perception. Perception of what? If we drop the ayin out, we are left with the root kiss, which can mean one of two things. It can mean thrown, or it can mean hidden. What do you perceive?
Hidden from.
Do you perceive the throne? Or is the throne hidden from you because all you can perceive is your emotion? Okay? We get angry. When we get angry, it becomes all about us.
Yes.
At that point, I don't care about Elohim. I don't care about nothing. I'm mad. I want to be angry. And I lose my ability to perceive. We talk about drying up. Why do I become angry? Because I've allowed Satan to put something in front of me that has drawn out an emotion of anger. Why? It's because I am dry. If I'm watered by the Word, and I have the fruits of the Spirit within me, what are the fruits of the Spirit? We say that they are patience, love. Okay? Patience, love. I think we can go with those two. That I'm not going to allow myself to be drawn into something. But if I'm dry, if I don't have the Word, if I don't have a relationship with my Elohim, then I don't have anything that waters me. And I don't have any reason to be patient. I don't have any reason to love. I don't have any reason to be slow to anger. I can go straight to guns. Because my perception is affected in a sense that this throne is hidden from my view.
And Jesus said not to sin in your anger. So obviously, anger is not the initial emotion. Maybe it depends on what sets it off. But I think maybe, and correct me on this, but I think sometimes when we think of not sinning in our anger, we think of an outward reaction, which realistically, if we're holding on to anger, yeah, it's inward, and that's pride. That's sin.
But if we look at 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and Paul sums it up in his commentary. He's talking about various gifts, and then he begins at let's just say verse 3. And if I should feed out the poverty-stricken all I possess, and if I should give my body so that I may boast, if I do it for physical reasons, for material reasons, then there is no love in me. I gain nothing. Now he goes on to talk about love. Love is patient. It's kind. It is not envious. It does not shout loudly. It is not boastful. It does nothing that causes shame. It does not seek her own. It is not passionate and thinks no evil. It does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes for all, and endures all. Love will never cease. How do we get love? It says Elohim is love. And if we are Betzelemenu, if we are made in the image of Elohim and in his likeness, then we have within ourselves the love to keep us in a state of emotional check. That I'm not going to let what this bozo does affect me. I'm not going to let this person, or I'm not going to let the devil walk all over me. I'm not going to be enticed into basically being angry. Because what happens when I'm enticed into being angry? Then I'm being greedy, because it becomes all about me. Anyway, anybody else?
Is there any other emotions that are associated with dryness? Like you said, anger?
Well, I mean, dryness, you consider a whole slew of emotions that can be,
What about like bitterness?
Yeah, depression.
resentment?
you consider anxiety.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Yeah.
anxiety, I'm worried about everything under the sun. Okay? Why am I worried about everything under the sun? Because I'm being greedy, and I want all that for myself. I'm not going to let it over to God. I'm not going to let Elohim take care of it. I'm going to hold on to it. Have I taken the time to spend time with my Elohim? Have I taken the time to pray about it? Study the Word. Go through the Proverbs and the Psalms that can help me to overcome my anxiety. Depression. Again, poor, pitiful me. It's all about me. I'm
Be
being,
very dry.
I'm being greedy. I'm being prideful at the same time, because I don't want anybody to cheer me up.
Dry.
I'm going to wallow in this because it's mine. Because I'm totally tried out. I have no spiritual authority to overcome what? The possessors. We call them evil spirits, the authorities and the principalities that attack us. The four, we call it, for lack of better words, demonic manifestations that show their ugly face in our lives. They
There's
entice
four
us.
characteristics of that?
Four characteristics. Well, this is different than
What
those.
what are the four characteristics?
Four characteristics. We have principalities, they attack your head. Authorities, they attack your heart.
Yeah, come on.
All these are head,
Okay.
in fact, your authorities are
And
heart.
there's actually a handout for this, I'll bring it next go around.
The principalities,
Attack your head. Okay, we have possessors, which attack your, we say belly for lack of, that's what fills you.
Yeah.
It fills you with bad things as opposed to the things of Elohim. And then you have finally the evil spirits that manifest themselves in the form of pride. These are the things that stomp on your feet, that smash your toes in. And this is, what do we need for this? We need the helmet of what? The helmet of restoration, of redemption, of deliverance. We need what? The breastplate of righteousness to protect our hearts. We need what? The belt that protects our midsection. We need the shoes to protect our toes from being stomped on. I say, Satan doesn't have to attack anybody. We do a good enough job of beating ourselves up
Yeah, exactly.
because we're dry. We allow ourselves to dry out.
What did you say the characteristics for the shoes?
For the
Evil spirit.
Yeah, but shoes.
Shoes are, they protect, basically they protect our feet from being, our toes from being stepped on.
Our toes from instead.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah,
You know.
that's good.
And all these things, you read the writings of Paul, he gives names to all these things. Like I say, I'll bring the handout. I think we taught on it last year sometime.
And what did you call these four characteristics?
Could,
These are demonic manifestations is basically what they are that come against us. But again, you can find these in the commentaries, the epistles of Paul, he talks about them.
could the belly also be referred to as almost like the soul?
Well-
Which is not the spirit, but the soul, if you do a body, soul, spirit.
When we talk about the belly, we're usually talking about the heart. And the heart is the seat of emotions, passions,
Yes,
so.
that's the authorities.
And these are the things, this is where those enticements lie, that we allow these things to get trampled. If we stay dry, if we allow ourselves to be, I guess, spiritually compromised, that we stay in a spiritual state of poverty, as opposed to being ready and understanding that it's crouching at the door. But what else did he say to Cain? You can master it. We can master it. How do we master it? By building our relationship with our Elohim, trusting in our Elohim, and staying in His Word to understand the authority that I have as a child of Elohim. If I believe and receive Yeshua, if I believe and receive the restoration, redemption, and deliverance of my Elohim, John says that to those that believed and received, He gave to them the authority to be called the sons of Elohim. And again, we go back to say, we're the children of Israel. We are B'nai Israel. And we say, well, you know, you have to be Jewish born and all this to be considered a child of Israel. But when you consider B'nai Israel, B'nai, children, comes from the root Bana, which means to establish. Israel means God prevails. If I establish in my life that Elohim prevails in my life, then I am B'nai Israel. You say, well, I'm not a Jew. Yehudim comes from the root Judah, which means what? It means to praise, but it also means to be grateful. If I praise my Elohim and I'm grateful to my Elohim for what I have, then I am Yehudim. And again, Ivrit, I'm not a Hebrew. Ivrit, Hebrew. Ivrit means to cross over. If I have crossed over, and if we say cross over the river Jordan, Jordan means to sink down. If I've crossed over something that drags me down and I've ended up at the place on the other side, is what Joshua says, they ended up at the place, then I understand that Makom, which means the place, is one of the names of Elohim. That if I end up within my Elohim, in a relationship with my Elohim, I've crossed over the things that can drag me down, then I am Ivrit. So I am a Hebrew, I am a Jew, and I am a child of Israel, because I have established in all of these things that Elohim prevails in my life. You don't have to become a member of a social club. You simply have to believe and receive in what Elohim has given us. Okay, anybody else? All right. Well, grooviness has been achieved.